I grew up on a narrow street where everyone knew each other's names, habits, and secrets. At least, that's what we thought. In the 1970s, our street looked quiet and respectable, lined with small houses, flower gardens, and wooden fences. From the outside, it was the kind of place where nothing bad was supposed to happen. But behind closed doors, lives were falling apart in ways no one dared to talk about out loud. My parents warned me early. Watch, listen, but never repeat what you hear. Gossip traveled faster than the evening news, and one careless word could destroy a family. Old Mrs. Carter was the unofficial observer of the street. She sat by her window every evening, pretending to knit while watching who came home late, who argued, and who cried behind curtains. People smiled at her politely, unaware that she knew more about their lives than they ever imagined. The first crack in our perfect street appeared when Mr. Harris disappeared. One morning, his house stood silent, his car gone, and his wife claimed he had left for work early. Days passed, then weeks. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some said he ran away with another woman. Others whispered about debts, threats, and secrets buried too deep. Mrs. Harris aged 10 years in 1 month, her eyes hollow, her voice shaking whenever someone asked about her husband. As a young man, I watched everything unfold with fear and curiosity. I sensed that adults were lying, to themselves and to each other. Late at night, I heard arguments through thin walls, cries muffled by pillows, and bottles clinking in dark kitchens. The street that once felt safe now felt heavy, as if the air itself carried unspoken truths. That was only the beginning. What happened to Mr. Harris was not an isolated event. It was the first domino in a chain of betrayals, scandals, and shocking revelations that would tear our street apart. Back then, we still believed silence could protect us. We were wrong. After Mr. Harris vanished, the street was never the same. People still greeted each other, still watered their gardens, but something cold had settled between us. Conversations stopped when someone walked by. Curtains moved more often. Trust quietly disappeared. Mrs. Harris rarely left her house anymore, and when she did, her back was bent, not from age but from shame that wasn't even hers. Then the second scandal erupted, this time involving the Wilson family. Mr. Wilson was a respected man, known for fixing radios and helping neighbors with small repairs. One evening, police cars stopped in front of his house. Lights flashed, doors slammed, and within minutes the entire street was watching from behind windows. Mr. Wilson was taken away in handcuffs while his wife screamed, begging the officers to stop. No one dared step outside. The next day, the truth spread faster than lies ever could. He had been stealing money from the factory for years. Worse, he had blamed missing funds on younger workers who were fired and publicly shamed. Families lost their income, marriages broke, and one man never found work again. All because Mr. Wilson wanted a better life without earning it honestly. What shocked me most was how many people admitted they had suspected something. They had seen him come home with expensive items, noticed strange visitors at night, and heard whispers, but no one spoke. Silence had protected a criminal and destroyed innocent lives. As the weeks passed, anger replaced fear. Old friendships ended overnight. People chose sides. Mrs. Wilson stopped answering her door. Children were warned not to play near their house. I watched how quickly respect turned into disgust, and how fragile reputation truly was. At night, my father finally said what everyone was thinking. This street is rotten inside. I realized then that secrets don't stay buried forever. They grow, they poison everything around them, and when they surface, they leave nothing untouched. By the time autumn arrived, our street felt like a battlefield without weapons. Smiles were forced, voices lowered, and trust was gone completely. Then came the scandal no one expected, because it involved the family everyone admired the most. The Millers were considered perfect. A hard-working father, a gentle mother, and 2 well-behaved children. People used them as an example of how life should be lived. That illusion shattered one cold October morning. Mrs. Miller was found sitting on the front steps before dawn, her face swollen from crying, her coat thrown over her nightdress. Neighbors gathered quietly, pretending to offer help while searching her face for answers. By noon, the truth was everywhere. Mr. Miller had been living a double life for years. He had another family in a nearby town, another wife, another child, and debts that swallowed every extra dollar he earned. What made it worse was how long people had suspected it. Late work trips, unexplained absences, sudden anger at home. Mrs. Miller had known too. She stayed silent to protect her children, swallowing humiliation day after day. When the second woman appeared at her door, demanding money and answers, everything collapsed at once. The children stopped coming to school. Mrs. Miller avoided the street entirely, leaving early and returning late to escape the looks. Some neighbors blamed her for not leaving sooner. Others whispered that she must have deserved it. No one asked how much pain she had endured alone. I learned then that betrayal doesn't just destroy marriages, it poisons entire families. The damage spreads quietly, shaping children, breaking spirits, and rewriting futures. The street absorbed another secret-turned-public disaster, but this one left scars that would never heal. And still, none of us understood that the worst truth was yet to come. Winter arrived early that year, bringing long nights and a silence that felt unnatural. Snow covered the street, hiding cracks in sidewalks and stains no one wanted to remember. That was when the tragedy happened, one that people would whisper about for decades but never fully admit out loud. It involved old Mr. Dawson, a widower who lived alone at the corner house. He was known as a drunk, a nuisance, someone easy to ignore. One freezing morning, Mr. Dawson was found dead in his kitchen. The official story was simple: alcohol, old age, and cold. The police stayed less than an hour. The body was taken away, and life was expected to move on. But many of us knew that story didn't fit. The night before his death, shouting had echoed through the street. A loud argument, a crash, then silence. It didn't take long for rumors to point toward his own son, a man full of anger, debts, and shame. He visited that night demanding money, threatening his father, accusing him of ruining his life. Neighbors heard it all. Some even stood by their windows, listening. But no one called the police. No one intervened. After the funeral, the son sold the house quickly and disappeared. People avoided discussing it, choosing comfort over truth. Mrs. Carter closed her curtains for weeks. Even she looked uneasy, as if what she had witnessed finally weighed too heavy on her conscience. I remember my mother saying quietly, "We killed him too." She didn't mean with hands, but with silence, with fear, with the decision to look away. That death changed how I saw everyone around me. The street wasn't just hiding secrets, it was actively protecting them. From that moment on, I understood something deeply disturbing. Evil doesn't always shout. Sometimes it survives because ordinary people choose peace over justice. And the cost of that choice would soon return to haunt us all.
Years passed, but the street never truly recovered. Houses were repainted, families moved in and out, yet the past lingered like a bad smell no fresh air could remove. The children who grew up among those secrets carried them into adulthood, shaped by lies they never fully understood. I was one of them. The older I became, the clearer everything looked, and the heavier it felt. Mrs. Harris died alone, still officially married to a man who was never found. Mrs. Wilson moved away quietly, her name forgotten but her shame intact. The Miller children left town the moment they could, never returning, cutting ties with a place that had watched their family fall apart and done nothing. As for Mr. Dawson, his death remained a natural cause on paper, but in our memories it was something far darker. Mrs. Carter eventually stopped sitting by the window. When she passed away, her house was cleared by distant relatives. In one dusty box, they found notebooks, years of notes, names, dates, observations. Proof that she had known everything. The notebooks were thrown away. No one wanted them. The truth was too late and too uncomfortable. I left that street in my 30s, carrying a promise I made to myself. Never stay silent when silence protects cruelty. Looking back now, I understand that the real tragedy wasn't betrayal, crime, or even death. It was how ordinary people learned to live with it, how fear became normal, how ignoring pain felt easier than facing it. Our street taught me a harsh lesson. Secrets don't disappear with time. They wait, they rot, and they shape generations. For those who lived there, the past never truly ended. It simply became something no one dared to name, even when it followed us for the rest of our lives.